Welcome to the craziness. Remember the Cultural Revolution I was talking about yesterday? It's continuing. A professor from ACLU was suspended for 3 weeks, involuntary leave, because the administrators asked him to have leniency on his final exam process, asking him to have it so that black students did not have to take the final exam. So he responded appropriately and said, well, 100% of the grade for this class is determined by the final exam. Problem number one. Then he said in his response, so what do I do with people who are of mixed backgrounds, mixed parentage? What if they're half black, half Asian? Do they get like half their grade is covered? Like, what do I do then? How many of my students are from Minneapolis? What about my white students who think that they're racist even when they're not? So he refused, decided that he was going to go ahead with the final exam, and then he's on voluntary leave. Awesome. Did I mention he teaches accounting? Not political science, not philosophy, not any of the subjects that would cover some shit like this. Plus, there's a movement in some other schools to get rid of the STEM careers, the STEM programs, because they're racist, because they're mostly filled with white and Asian students. Huh. Remember how I said they went after the professors and the institutions because they're found to be a corrupt system? Nailed it. So the latest on Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Apparently I have to say that every time because some idiot watched my last video and was like, Chad is an anachronism. That's you don't even know what you're talking about. Dude, you literally spent like 12 hours last night making comments on different people's videos. Is your mom a good cook? Does she keep her basement dry where you live? So over in Chaz, you now have what they wanted, community policing. You have a wannabe rapper who is acting like a warlord, has armed thugs going around declaring that they're the police now. That's awesome. I'm sure they got really good training on that. And in one video, a guy is accused of stealing a cell phone. In which case, he is surrounded by a mob where they're saying, like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? And he's like, dude, I didn't steal the goddamn phone. Just fucking leave me alone. And because he kept denying it, they put a baseball bat in his face and said, if you don't hand over the phone now, we're smashing your fucking face in. Because that's justice, and that's the opposite of police brutality, you know? Heaven forbid he has a day in court and he's presumed innocent before he's proven guilty, you know? I can't believe we don't have a system like that. Who would have thought? So eventually, the girl realizes where she thought she put her cell phone and where it was were two totally different places. And they're like, oh, hey, it's right here. Yeah, sorry. And then they let the guy go. So the big question is, what would have happened if they didn't find the fucking cell phone? Did I mention the city's also supplying porta potties to them and doing some of the cleaning because they can't get anybody to do it for them? Oh, they also set a dumpster on fire and then called the fire department to their autonomous zone to put it out because they didn't know how. So the mayor of Seattle was asked how long this is going to go on, and she said, I'm hoping it's going to be a summer of love. In a separate interview with the chief of police, she stated that they're getting calls for robbery, violence, and rape in the zone in which they are not allowed to respond. Taxpaying citizens who have had their property taken over, who are now having their rights violated, and the police are like, we can't do anything about it. You're shit out of luck, sorry you live there. And then there's the hardest part about all this, Dave Chappelle. I like Dave Chappelle, even though the last couple specials that he's done have been completely boring, not funny, couldn't give a shit about the content. One of the Netflix specials that he did, he spent like 20 minutes talking about a book from the 70s written by a pimp. And yeah, dude, I grew up in the ghetto. I already knew what a bottom bitch was, okay? And it ain't you. So Chappelle, who, hey, in my mind, he's up there along with Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. You know, I'm hesitant to say Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was a funny dude, just not when you're on a date with him. So he's one of the greats, and in his last special, 846. You know, I listened to it. I listened to the whole thing, watched it on YouTube less than an hour after it was posted. And honestly, I agree with everything. I agree with everything that he said. The parts I had problems with, talking about Chris Dorner, the soldier in Texas that killed the 9 cops, the ongoing the ongoing issue of soldiers, active duty or not. I mean, there was a active duty, not discussed in the special, by the way, Air Force officer who was building bombs, targeting police, and later killed. I mean, I believe this happened last week. Here's a guy who was still active duty. It's not like he got out and was disenfranchised with American life or anything like that. Oh no, that happened while he was still in. But no, there's parts of Chappelle's special that if you're an idiot, if you're somebody who's looking for an excuse, they could take what he said and just be like, dude, he's right. You know, we should just, you know, the examples are there. And man, I hope not, and I hope that's not what he was intending. You know, I understand the story that he was telling, but people are fucking dumb, and they will follow the stupidest shit if it aligns with their ideas, or ideas that they already had but didn't have the balls to follow through with. That's one of my biggest concerns. I would encourage anyone to watch it for themselves. You know, it's up to you as to like what you get out of it. But yeah, Dave Chappelle, 846. It's like a half hour, if that. And I'm gonna warn you, it's not funny. There's absolutely nothing funny about it. It's just one of his deep thought rants on what's going on because people keep fucking asking him about shit. And you know, I give him a lot of credit when it came to people asking him like, "Oh, what did you think of R. Kelly?" And he's like, "I wrote a funny song about the guy. Never met him. I have nothing to do with the motherfucker." Whereas most people would say something stupid like, "Oh, I think what he allegedly did was just horrible." No, he kept his mouth shut. Didn't respond. But not in this situation, and totally justified. in this case, you know? Why shouldn't he talk about it? Fuck, everybody else is talking about it. Why not him? So that's just it. We have the free speech, the First Amendment, you know, the very first one. But right now, the people who are practicing it the most are also shutting other people down because, hey, it's free speech as long as your ideas align with mine. Because that's how America works. So that's just it. Hey, as long as YouTube doesn't shut me down, I'm still going to be on here saying whatever the fuck I want because I can't be demonetized when I'm not monetized, and I don't really give a shit. You know? Hey, everybody kept pushing the you have an opinion, you have the right to your opinion, and you have the First Amendment, so yeah, keep spewing that shit out there, regardless of whether there's any thought or content behind it. I guess this is what we wanted. You know, there was a time where we had intellectuals who spoke for us, you know, summarized our ideas to where everybody could understand what the hell they're talking about, but that's not the case anymore. So that's it for me. What kind of shit have you been hearing about? What's going on in your town that's not covered in the news? And leave your comments below. Keep on typing.